Hi folks, right, second video to replace the ones lost. So, the court case, yes. Well, yeah, because I went there on Tuesday. And, yeah, surprised me because different system. Justice of the peace rather than sheriff. So, different system completely. Still one person deciding. Much smaller room. For what reason, I don't know. Maybe less intimidating, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah. So, anyway, when it's my turn to go up and plea, I said not guilty still. And the justice said, are you representing yourself? I said, well, I think so. He said, well, are you ready for the trial? I said, I have no idea, probably not. There you go, probably not. Well, because the right answer is always got to be probably not, because, you know, if you think you're ready, then you're not. So, yeah. But then they said, have you tried finding someone? I said, yeah. I went to McKay's and had an appointment, and they said that he's on holiday, but then they said, oh, they're not taking on any more clients anyway right now. So, okay. They didn't get back to me, so fine. All right. Yeah. And they said, well, there is another one in the area, you could try them. So they gave me the details of that person, wrote it all down, and said to come back on the 28th to say whether I have representation or not at that point. So I phoned up this other solicitors, and they said, well, this one is also on holiday for a week, and then next week he's very busy, but they'll see me on the 27th, as in the day before I'm supposed to go back to court. I think it's most likely that I'll be representing myself. Yeah. I think it is. And I think it's... Well, I looked through again, because when I wrote my plea of not guilty, when I replied the first time, instead of actually going to court and pleading, I just put that in. Well, on that, I included 2 pages of details of what happened on that day and a bit of background to why it happened. And I went through that again, and I thought, well, I can't really add more to that with regards to defence, because it says it all. It says what happens. It said basically how I reacted and why I reacted in that way. It also says that it was pretty much impossible for me to react in a different way. And it was. Well, because if you understand, when you panic, yeah, you have to understand that when someone panics, that the ideal solution, the safe solution, is out the window. Because as soon as you panic, you've reacted in the extreme, therefore your decision is going to be in the extreme. It will follow. Because when they do these safety talks, and they used to years ago, they used to come to companies and do a safety talk, health and safety talk. They never offer, the safe option is never the panicky option, is it? So guarantee, when people panic, they don't choose a safe option, because panic prevents that from happening. So, yeah. As I say, what I need, I suppose, is for God to help the justice and the prosecution to ask the right questions about what I've already written. And, yeah, to get them to ask questions that are going to lead the answers to them understanding that not only not guilty, but no fault. Because Well, I said to God early on, I said, this is what I want. I said, because with the doggies, I was not guilty, and yet I was told to plead guilty because you couldn't trust the system or the sheriffs. And on that day, you said to me, things aren't going to happen the way you thought you were today. Sorry. So this time, I want the best outcome. The absolute best. I don't just want to be not guilty, I want to no fault. Well, because, yeah. And again, when I read what I said about the second charge, which was driving away afterwards and not reporting it, I realised, well, actually, again, it's a ridiculous charge, because when you realise what happened, how can I have reported something? I did not see the person beforehand, during, or afterwards. I did not see what happened. Nobody in the area was pointing to anything that had happened. There was no evidence whatsoever that a person had been hit by the mirror of my car. There was evidence that the mirror of my car had hit something, right? But not a person. And, yeah, okay. Reality is, at that point in time, because I didn't see anyone beforehand, during, or afterwards, I had no reason to believe it was a person. Until I saw the ambulance go up the road once I'd driven away, and saw the ambulance stop in that location. Well, yeah. It is a point. Yeah, so we'll just have to see what happens with regards to that. But again, it is a situation where people are pleading, and when I was there the other day, there were a couple of traffic offences. One where a man had connected with another car that was parked and driven off. It's quite likely he didn't see or hear, because the problem is when you're driving, you're not necessarily focusing, and he was an older man, so maybe his hearing isn't quite so great, so maybe he didn't hear. Well, originally, from what I gathered, from what they said, he had originally said that he knew that he had hit the car, but he didn't think he had caused that damage to the car. So he was denying that it caused the damage that was caused to the car. Well, okay. He got 5 points on his licence and a £270 fine. You're thinking, excuse me, and the sheriff is saying, yeah, I'm going to give you the minimum. And I'm thinking the minimum has to be 0. Right? Because surely, as a justice, you must understand that maybe the law doesn't apply to this situation. Or maybe it shouldn't. Or maybe you don't need to apply the law to this one. That maybe, that would be a bit harsh. Yeah. And then there was another case where a husband and wife, again, didn't know the ins and outs, but from what they were saying, the gist of it was that one of them, I think it was the husband, he had car insurance. And because he had full comp insurance, he thought that that insurance policy that he had would cover his wife driving. Well, turns out that isn't the case. Now, for most people wouldn't have a clue. They weren't English. I'm not sure if they're from Pakistan or India or from around. They were from around that area, judging by their surnames and their first names. But exactly where, I do not know. But again, if their natural language and natural understanding isn't English, and maybe they've been living in another country and then come over here, then understanding the law and understanding. So if it was simply a mistake, for some bizarre reason, he was given 6 points on his licence. and a £270 fine. And it's like, again, that seemed excessive. It just seemed excessive. Yeah, so it's like, oh, okay. I was thinking afterwards, oh, that's not good. If I'm found guilty, I could be banned from driving by this person because, you know, he's dealt with things that were less. You know, they face one charge, I'm facing two. Yeah, so therefore, yeah. So, okay, let's see what happens. So, I'll let you know. So, indeed, enjoy. Yeah. You take care, God bless, I'll speak to you soon. Have a fantastic week ahead and a weekend. Be blessed. I'll let you know what happens. Take care. Bye-bye.